Question 116. Maria and Jorg are trying to simplify this expression, negative 4/3 times 1/2 times negative 3/4. Maria started by rewriting 1/2 as 7/5. So as we always talk about, she changed her mixed number to an improper or top-heavy. Then when I look at this problem, it looks like she multiplied, since this is multiplication, the order doesn't matter. So she multiplied these two first and got negative 21/20. Then she multiplied that by the negative 4/3. And let's see, signs are the same, so it's positive. 4 times 21 is 84. 3 times 20 is 60. So she gets this, makes it on top heavy, gets 1 and 24/60, and then reduces it down to 1 2/5. All right, all that looks great. Jorg had a different idea. He multiplied negative 4/3 times negative 3/4 first. So notice, he's switching the order, all right, which is legal because we're talking about commutative property with multiplication. So simplify this expression using Jorg's method. Is your answer equal to Maria's? So if I do this, I'm going to do this first. So notice, negative 4/3 times negative 3/4. Look at this cross canceling that goes on here. 4 goes in there once. 4 goes in there once. So those become ones. 3 goes into both these. 3 goes in there once. 3 goes in there once. So on top, I just have 1 times 1. On bottom, I have 1 times 1. And then the signs are the same, so it's a positive 1. So this just became a positive 1. So now I have 1 2/5 times a positive 1 from this. All right, because if you look, if I don't cross things out, notice how everything's going to cross cancel here. And the signs are the same, so it's positive. 1 2/5 times 1 gives us 1 2/5. So even though we switched the order around and we did these first, we still get the exact same answer that Maria did. Because remember, multiplication, we're allowed to switch things around. Part B, Jorg used the commutative property of multiplication, which just means he switched the order. Why might he have decided to multiply these terms first? Well, I think his idea to multiply these terms first is because it just gives us 1. If I don't cross cancel and I just do 4 times 3 is 12, on bottom, 3 times 4 is 12, that gives me 1. Signs are the same, so it's positive. So I think he saw this connection and decided to do that first because this would just give him a positive 1. Pretty slick idea. Part C. In the multiplication problem, the factors may be grouped together in different ways. This is called associative property of multiplication. Use this property to show that this first expression is equivalent to this expression. We want to see if these are equivalent or not. So notice, we have everything in the exact same order. 3/5, 3/5, 2/5, 2/5, negative 2, negative 2. So everything's in the same order. The only difference is we're changing the parentheses. We're changing what we do first. So in this one, notice we have a parentheses in the beginning. Here, we have our parentheses at the end. So we want to see, do we still get the same answer if we do associative property, which means just switching our parentheses, what we do first. Well, let's see. If we do this first, do this in parentheses. I'm going to cross cancel. 2 goes in here once. 2 goes in there twice. And this now becomes 3/10. So this I now have is 3/10 times negative 2. If I'm going to multiply fractions, I need to make this negative 2 into a fraction, so I put it over 1. I'm going to cross cancel here. 2 goes in here once. 2 goes in there 5 times. And I end up with, let's see, 3 times 1 is 3. 5 times 1 is 5. So this becomes a nice little 3/5. And the signs are different, so it's a negative 3/5. All right, so now let's see if it changes if I do this part first. All right, well, let's see, 2/5 times negative 2. 2/5 times negative 2. That's a negative. Make this into a fraction by putting it over 1. Make that negative, that's better. Let's see, I can't cross cancel. So for this, I end up with 4/5. So multiplying these give me 4/5. The signs are different, so it's negative. So when I did this parentheses here, I get negative 4/5. Now I multiply that by my 3/4. All right, so let's see what happens here. Some cross canceling goes on. 4 goes into both these. 4 goes in there once. 4 goes in there once. When I multiply across the top, 3 times 1 is 3. On bottom, 1 times 5 is 5. The signs are different, so it is negative. Notice we get the exact same answer. And all we did was associative property. Everything was written, if we go back to our original problem, notice how everything is written in the exact same order. 3/4, 3/4, 2/5, then 2/5, -2 and -2. The difference is we put our parentheses in different spots, and we still got the same answer. And the reason is because for multiplication, we can switch where the parentheses are at, and we still get the exact same answer. Let me clear all this stuff out. So simplify each expression. First, decide if you want to group some factors together. Let's see if I can scroll up, give myself a little bit more room. Let's see. If I was doing this one, you know what I would probably do first is I would probably multiply these two fractions first because I got some cross canceling that's going to go on with these. So let's see, 9 on top. Actually, I want to rewrite this so it's a little bit neater, if that's okay. So let's see, 9 over 1, and it's negative. And then I have 1 over 9. This is that part I'm liking. This is going to be that cross canceling times 3/8. All right, well, let's see here. 9 goes in there once. 9 goes in there once. On top, 1 times 1 is 1, times 3 is 3. So this becomes a 3. On bottom, 1 times 1 is 1, times 8 is 8. So this becomes an 8. A negative times a positive is a negative. And a negative times another positive is negative. So I get negative 3/8. So the key on this one is I did this part first so I can get these 9s to cross cancel. If I come over here, let's see, what do I want to do? I think I'm going to do these two right here first. So notice that 3 goes into both these. So 3 goes in there once. 3 goes in there 3 times. That's a 3. And let's see. Oh, also, I could cross cancel all the way across because remember, as long as I take 1 off top, 1 off the bottom, I can cross cancel when I multiply. So 4 goes in here once. 4 goes in there 3 times. I think that's all my cross canceling. So let's see, 5 times 1 times 1 is 5. Let's see, what was that? I can't even tell what that was anymore. Let's see. Oh, that was a 3. All right, so that's a 3. So let's see, 3 times 7 is 21. 21 times 3 is 63. All right, and let's see, it was a negative times a positive times a positive. So a negative times a positive is negative. Negative times a positive is negative. So this gives me negative 5/63. This one here, instead of multiplying here first, I think I want to multiply this first because 5 times 2 gives me 10 times negative 8.1. And the reason I did that, because anytime I multiply something by 10, I can just slide my decimal 1 spot to the right. So I can just 8.1 times 10, slide the decimal to the right 1 spot. This just now becomes a negative 81. All right, so this idea of multiplication that I can change the order around, it helps me get some good combination of numbers.